Hello guys, Belle here. Going to give you a walkthrough on legendaries and how they're going to work in Legion. There's been a huge change to legendaries and the way that we acquire them, the way that they work. So I wanted to make sure that I did a nice breakdown for you guys. Now, also to go with this video, I will be doing a video for each class to showcase the different legendary options, since Blizzard is kind enough to allow me to be able to give that option, since they show there's a legendary vendor here where you could actually buy and test. So, which is pretty awesome. Now, let's talk about some things that are going to be important to understand. All legendaries in Legion will be from a drop, and there will be no weapon legendaries, obviously, because we have the artifact weapon. So it wouldn't make sense if there was weapon drops for Legion. There'll be all the other drops, though. Rings, helmets, all those items will drop for legendaries. Now, legendaries will also only drop what you can use. So you wouldn't, as a warlock, you wouldn't get, say, a shaman legendary. That's just not the way that it's going to work. Now, these are going to be very rare, and of course they should be. It should be something that's difficult to obtain. It's like very rare drop. The item level for these legendaries initially is going to be 895, because typically when it comes to legendaries, as we've had in previous expansions, they're meant to last just throughout that expansion. They're not meant for future expansions. Now, the stats and special effects will greatly enhance your abilities, and they'll also possibly grant some other special benefits to be determined by the piece of gear and what its use is. None of the abilities are going to be on use. They will all be passive. So you don't have to worry about having any on-use abilities here. Now, they are going to drop from dungeon bosses, raid bosses, world bosses, your world quest caches, your PvP strong boxes, and your Mythic Plus weekly caches as well. Now, the Legion developers did state that they can drop from anywhere in the world at any given moment. That is something that was talked about. No proof of that has been data mined as far as where you can acquire it from, but that is something that they did state, that you could just randomly be doing a quest and you could get a legendary, or randomly find a treasure and get a legendary. So we'll just kind of have to see how that kind of plays itself out. Now, there is no set boss drops a specific legendary, so it's not going to be a thing where, as we're progressing through Legion, you'll be able to know what boss will drop which specific gear. That's just not the way that it's going to work. It is literally going to be RNG. Now, the chance of getting a legendary, if you haven't gotten one as we progress through Legion, that will increase over time. So the algorithm in-game will pick up that you have not gotten a legendary in X amount of time, and it will help increase those odds as we progress through Legion. Now, naturally, the more difficult the boss, the higher the drop chance, albeit still pretty rare. So, for instance, a raid boss will have a higher chance of getting a legendary than, say, a dungeon boss. So that's definitely going to be a factor. Obviously, you can't sell or trade any legendaries. They are bound to you. Basically, the idea behind these legendaries is to make them so rewarding to get, and the power is definitely going to reflect that. So it's going to be awesome. Now, for those of you who are wondering, you don't have to worry about somebody being so overpowered because of all their legendaries. You can only, in the very beginning of Legion, you'll only be able to equip one legendary at a time. So this will, this will make it easier. Now, as we progress further through content, they will be allowing more than one equipped. In fact, there will be an option for your final order hall upgrade to allow you to equip a second legendary. But that's going to take a long time to be able, it's because that's your final order hall upgrade, which I did cover that in a previous video for missions and order halls. So make sure, if you need more information on how that's going to affect your gameplay, go ahead and check that out. But in the beginning, you'll only be able to equip one, which is, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like, if you have two, it's kind of crappy, you won't be able to use two. But some of these stats, which we're going to go over that in just a second, some of this stuff is a little bit overpowered. So I can definitely understand why they wouldn't want somebody to be walking around in all legendary gear, even though it's going to be really difficult. Now, the effects of the weapons will be usable for PvP and in world PvP engagements. No other forms of PvP. So battlegrounds, arenas, duels, it will not work. Your stats will be nullified, and the ability will not be used in any other situation in PvP except for world PvP, which is nice that they at least kept the world PvP. That's good for those of you that are on a PvP server. Now, the blue post that talked about this, they basically said in Legion, as soon as you zone into a PvP instance, the stats in your gear will be nullified and you will be given a predetermined set of stats that's uniquely configured for your specialization. Now, furthermore, any set bonuses, enchants, legendary bonuses, and trinket effects will be deactivated, although the artifact, of course, is different. The artifact weapon, you will be using that for PvP, so that will remain the same. Now, the cool thing about these legendaries is you can transmog your legendary, which has been different from previous expansions where you couldn't, and you can transmog another weapon into your legendary. So that's pretty nice that they give you that option here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hover over a couple of these legendary items since Blizzard was kind enough to allow us the use of the legendary trainer. And I'm actually going to show you one that I have equipped here. Now I actually have this hood equipped, which is weird. It's not showing the hood. That's kind of annoying. Yeah, that's kind of annoying that it's not showing it, but I'll zoom in here. Obviously, I'm on my Warlock, and I'm Destruction. Now, some of these legendary weapons will be spec-specific. There's a couple of them that are spec-specific. Most of them are going to be for all different specs of Warlock, so all different specs of Death Knight and so forth. There are also going to be some legendaries that will be for cloth wearers, so all different cloth wearers can wear them. And in the videos that I do on the different classes that I'll link in the top right hand corner so you can watch and see what legendaries are available for your class, you'll be able to know exactly what you're going to get here. So let's just to give you an idea. So here is here's one of the hoods for the Warlock. And as you see, it is unique equipped. You're only allowed to have one. Does give a nice intellect boost, gives critical strike, gives mastery, and the equip here is Agony deals its full damage 20% faster. Now, I don't have Agony, so that's not really going to be good for me, so I'm actually going to filter this out. I put the headpiece on only because it was really cool, and I thought that was really nice. But let me give you another example of something that would be useful for me. So for this specific ring, it actually has a lot of haste and critical strike. The equip ability is enemies affected by your rain of fire take 7% increased damage from your fire spells, which I'm a Warlock, so all of my spells down here, with the exception of my Chaos Bolt, is fire. So that's what you're looking for as far as the legendaries go, and I think it's going to be a unique experience to have a full set of legendaries. I'll just kind of glance over. That's a pretty good amount of legendaries that you're going to be able to acquire, which I think will make you really, really powerful, especially giving your artifact weapon here. So with that said, that's going to be the important points as far as the legendaries are concerned. I did link the article to the PDQ, which will be your guide on the legendaries. I've listed out the legendaries that you can get for each character, and then also don't forget to click up at the top right hand corner and watch my go to the playlist that is going to list all the classes, so that you can get the breakdown on what each specific legendary that they have in-game available now is going to do, so that you guys can start working on plotting and planning as you're acquiring these legendaries and how they can fit into your power scheme when it comes to building out kind of your perfect power when it comes to PvP. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions on this legendary video, I actually did this at the request of somebody else that had asked for this video. If you have any other requests of content that you would like me to cover in beta, don't hesitate to comment, and if you're new to PWNCAST, make sure you do give the channel a subscribe so that we can, that way you can keep up to date on all the latest things that we have going on here with the channel and the Legion coverage, as well as future guides for PvE and PvP once Legion is live. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here because I've been talking entirely too long in what should be a really short legendary video, and make sure you guys don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.